organization here. Now, we will be having lunch as soon as we finish. The people that are catering the lunch are from Needville. This is the first time we've used that for catering. We're down home country cooking. I think you'll find it excellent food. Let me introduce the people that are up here at the front. For those of you who do not know them, I'll start at the far end. There's Mr. Ruben Schultz. Ruben is a former math teacher. He taught with us way back when I started, and some of the rest of you started teaching way back. A good friend of Dick's. Next to him is Ms. Mildred Walker, another former teacher in our school. Mr. Gene Priest. The next gentleman there is a good friend of Dick's, and we've known him for many years in the community. Next to him is a man that many of us began our careers with and know and love as a former principal of our school, Mr. E.J. Nelson, and his wife Roxy. Of course, Dick and his wife Marianella. Susie, one of Dick's daughters, will be here. Another of our former principals in our school, Mr. Guy Wynn, and his wife Eileen. And next to Mrs. Wynn is another lady we've known and loved for sharing with us all the fun times back when we were teaching together. This is Ms. Marie Gatesel. And of course, Jimmy Willis, as you know, a good friend of Dick's, and we've talked about working side by side for a long time. Jimmy, just as you know, recently retired. And on the end here is Mr. F.E. Hubble, longtime friend of Mr. Haygood's. Let's give a nice hand to our invited special guest. Now, what we're going to do, Dick, as we did for Jimmy, we're going to give everybody up here an opportunity to say something about you. Maybe some nice things, or maybe some things that, funny little stories they'd like to tell. I'd like to begin, and I apologize for the microphone cord not reaching all the way to you, Mr. Nelson, but if you have some things you'd like to say about Mr. Haygood, you have the floor.
I'm afraid you'd ask me. Now, I thought just like you did, for the good things and the bad things. Now they got to decide which to give first. They're going to give the bad side first. Not real bad, but after retirement, I learned to know Dick almost better than I did when he was teaching. Guess we had more time to talk. But we attend football games together and basketball. So one time, several years ago, Dick said, let's go to watch Rice play basketball. I said, well, let's see if Vernon Welsh will go with us. So we went. I agreed with Dick. If he'd take the car, I'd buy the tickets. Now, this is the bad thing about it. So Dick knows how I watch my money. And so we went into the ball game. I walked up the ticket, and I told him I wanted 3 tickets. I didn't know how much they'd cost. I thought they'd be about $2. And Dick wouldn't. He stood way off in the corner. So Dick and I said, well, I want 3 good seats. So they gave us the choice seats, $5.50 each.
Susie just came
That's
in.
$16.50. So we sat down there, and before the half came, well, Dick said, say, those seats look better up there behind the road. Let's go up there. So we went up there, and those were $2 seats. He didn't apologize or anything. And he hadn't forgotten that either, because he'd enjoyed it for about 15 years. About a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, he mentioned it. He said, you remember when we went and watched Rice play? I said, yeah. You remember you bought the tickets and they cost $5.50? Now that's, I'll add to that about going to ball games, since F.E. Hubbard's here too. The good thing about Dick that I observed as he taught was the way that he handled the students and how well he got along with them. I tried to think of any time where Dick brought a kid to me for discipline, and I couldn't remember. He had a good camaraderie, as I call it, with the pupils. Got along real well. In fact, he got along so well that I, quite often, he may not have known it every time, but sometimes he did. A kid that gave us trouble, I said, we'll put those in Dick's class.
That sounds familiar.
And he did. just knew how to handle kid troublesome ones especially. The camaraderie I found out after my retirement, Dick Neppy and I go to football games together, and it was interesting, the number of students, ex-students and present students that Dick, that came around and speak to Dick. They always had a nice word for him, could remember something to tell, and they talked. There I sat, I was away from the kid, nobody paid attention to me anymore, and I was sort of jealous of Dick, of having such friendship with his students. To me, that's a good trait and something he'll carry away. He'll enjoy some of the things I enjoy. When these kids come to me 40 or 50 years old and say, Mr. Nelson, do you remember? And I think he will. I appreciate Dick a lot, and we're not through with the band people now.
Halftime. If you don't know this might be some information that's valuable. You can get into the stadium after halftime and it doesn't cost you. So Dick and I, first of all, we would park down on Main Street, up there somewhere where there was a parking place, and we walked. I don't know how many blocks that is, but it's a lot of blocks down there to the stadium. We went in and we'd see the last half of the game. And that's the cheap way to go. Dick and I saw a lot of last half. But Dick and I not only were colleagues and teaching, and we were good friends. And I have always appreciated Dick. He certainly is one that you can always count on. And I know that Dick's going to enjoy retirement, and I'm going to yes.
Introduce a few other people. The young lady over here holding the camera is right now his daughter Susie, and the gentleman who joined us just a moment ago is Mr. Shirley Kinley, who happens to be Janet's other half. Shirley and Dick have been good friends for many years too, so we're glad y'all could join us. Okay, anyone else that would like to say anything about Dick before we have Dick make his farewell speech? Ruben? Dick, if you want to use the microphone, you can.
No, I don't think I need to use the microphone. You know, I have one thing with this field a while ago with Mr. Nelson saying he ought to put the rowdy ones in Mr. Haygood's class, but for some reason or other, I darn sure felt like I got most of them. So I don't know whether we just all had them passed along, but I do say one thing about Dick, the same thing Mr. Nelson said. As an assistant principal at junior high school one year, that was enough. Dick never sent me a problem either. I mean, that was one thing he didn't take care of his discipline. Things this time, which made it a heck of a lot easier. And we backed over garbage cans, things of this type, the bus drivers, and somebody else had moved the mirrors, readjusted those, so we lost our button, as we used to call it, our safety pin, by driving some of these buses. And Dick, compared to I hope you all have as much fun as you're enjoying in your retirement as I've had the first 7 or 8 years, because I still don't believe I've retired 7 or 8 years ago, but it's been great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go.
I'm going to have to get back to Dick. 16 years ago, when my husband and I retired, he really pulled together. He was in charge of our retirement party. And he embarrassed me no more. He told the whole audience that he hated my husband before he applauded. I think still worth it. Anyway, he went on to say that the reason he hated my husband before he ever saw him because I had been there from Kirkland at the time, and I came over to First Baptist Church. brothers just like him. We're in that department. And my contender, he knows how to handle people because that's the way he acts. He knows how to handle them. So I've known him since he was just a little boy.
Oh, well.
Remember, he was a little boy one time. And he wasn't red-headed.
Thank you, Miss Laura. Anyone else? Lee? Shirley. Shirley, go ahead.
You'll have to pardon me for my part this while ago. I lost all my cookies. I don't feel too well. Dickie and I, like I say, the other day I received this letter, from the school district. I thought, well, guys, raise my taxes. I didn't pay my taxes. Opened up, and there was this invitation to come see Dickie in the retirement here. But I went to bed that night, woke up in just a sweat there. I just couldn't sleep. So what am I going to say good about Dickie? That'd be one thing I can tell that be appreciative, you people out here know Dickie was a good fellow, but I just couldn't think of a thing. I went on to the Lord, I prayed to the Lord, I said, Lord, please help me. The Lord answered my prayer. He said, sorry, Shirley, but I don't know anything either. Your prayers are answered. But again, like I say, Dickie and I have grown up together. In Sunday school, Effie and I try to sit on each side of him next to a little younger. But he has reached out hair there. He wanted to come back natural. But Dickie is always saying that we're in the first grade together. Well, that's true, we were. But he didn't tell he was retained 4 years before I started. But Dickie and I have grown up together. I appreciate everything that Dickie has done for the students here. I know y'all have too. And together I think they'll do real well together out there in retirement. Also, I know Dick can take his with me. He said, anytime I have the urge to work, I'll lay down until the urge goes away. So,
I'm not going to say too much. You've heard they kind of combined it when I retired. Everybody's heard too much about me and Dick. We grew up together and everything. But I'm not going to say too much about him because I think he can say more about me. But talking about growing up together, you're talking about first grade on. That's a long time for our association. And he dates back way back when we used to go to First Baptist Church here, and my dad was fire director, I don't remember whether he sat with me or, we used to sit in the back, and I'd have a funny book hid in my Bible, I'd sit on the back row. And Daddy, he was a song director, and he'd look out there, and all he'd do is that. Come to the front row. You might remember some of that book, But anyway, all that time in working with Dick, I've certainly enjoyed it. And we work well together, and I think he'll be in my club now. So I'll take care of it.
Thank you.
get behind Dick. I've got something for you, Dick. I want you to put this on. Everybody can see what this occasion is all about.
Guard Frog. Guard Frog.
Probably as long as most anybody here, Jimmy and Shirley, quite a while. I used to shake his diaper. Dick grew up in Roseburg, and he ran around with a pretty rough crowd. He ran around with my brother, Mickey Hubble. And a lot of people that had these plum trees, orange trees, and things like that were missing plums and oranges a lot of times during the summertime because he claims he's much younger than he is. He's always talking about his wife being so much older than he is. Perhaps he was Dick is really older than Marinella. You can tell by looking that he's older. Now, there's one story I'd like to tell about Dick. I have some grandchildren that I'm terrible right now because of that. Dick, most of you know Dick has his leg, this wooden leg. He doesn't mind talking about it. But he went to a wedding that my son had at my daughter's house. And at the reception, Dick got having trouble with that leg, so he goes over and sits down and he just pulls the bridge leg up and takes the leg off and puts it over in the chair. And my grandkids were there. And they said, boy, they just disturbed them so terrible. Man taking his leg off. And I still we'll have fun at there if it's called.
Anyone on the faculty and staff have anything they'd like to say to or about Mr. Haygood? Anyone? I think someone will be too emotional today. On behalf of the faculty and staff and for all the kids that you've touched over the years, we do want to express our appreciation, our thanks to your 34 years. It's been a great association. On behalf of all the work that you've done, we'd like to present you with some gifts. I don't know where the committee is. We do have some gifts, and they'd like to tell you a little bit about it. Nick, okay? Stand on here and go.
Dick, your friends at Georgia Junior High would like to present you and your lovely lady with a weekend in Galveston. Your lodging will be at a bed and breakfast inn called Hazelwood House. It was originally built in 1877 and was purchased in 1977 by Pat Hazelwood and has been turned into a bed and breakfast. On your arrival, you'll be greeted with a wine and cheese tray. Breakfast begins. Cheese tray. Remember that, Eddie. Breakfast will begin with quiet hot coffee and tea presented to your door, and it will continue with assorted fresh fruits and juices and pastries, which you can enjoy in your room or in the dining room or even Texas style on the porch. Hazelwood House is located on Church Street, about midway between the Strand and Seawall Boulevard, right in the middle of the East End Historic District. So we hope you enjoy your lovely romantic weekend from all of us.
That's not all. That Friday night, you have reservations for the Colonel, the big paddle wheeler, for a moonlight excursion around Galveston Island, accompanied by a romantic dinner for two, with live entertainment provided by a jazz band. Okay. After you've recuperated from your Galveston trip, we have 4 box seat tickets to the Astros-Giants game for you. All right?
So as soon as you choose your weekend, let Debbie know and she'll call and make all the reservations.
In addition to that, we have our booklet which all of your friends and colleagues here at George have signed for you with some very nice comments about working with you. I'd like to say we love you very much, we're going to miss you, and we hope you have a very happy retirement. And there's room for your guests to sign the booklet.
Okay, Dick, it's your turn.
It's kind of hard to retire. It's a job I wanted a long time ago. You bring back a lot of memories. You think about a lot of things. Most of it's funny, I guess. Right now, I can't think of anything funny. As all these people are praying for me, and some that are not here, George Huntington came by the other day, and another engagement. I know, like I am, you want to eat. I got to say thank you for so many things. One year, about 6, 7 years ago, I was called a jury duty for the whole month of May. And that's the way to teach school. I was only here one day the whole month in Linda Hill, and Kay Slater just simply ran things for my class. I appreciate that very much. Not just that time, but many other times. You know that Kay and I worked together for a long time. And I think she taught me a great word, Kay. And Kay taught me a little bit about this. My classes were always the worst in school. Maybe it's because they sent me the worst kids. I do appreciate Kay, and she has a big help to me. For Mary Ann and Shirley and all the B-Lunch bunch, kept me on a diet. And it was a lot of fun. And y'all can appreciate. We had a little party yesterday. And gosh, Mr. Nelson, he hired me in spite of knowing that I was in love with his wife. That was a true story. That wasn't just like off there. Of course, Guy and I we didn't start first grade together, but it was a long time ago. Of course, Aline, his wife, is a lot older than I am.
Get up and say something about it.
And Marie Gates, for most of you know Marie, probably had her in school. I was so afraid of her when I started teaching. I hate to even talk to her because she's always nasty to come to. Steve would say the same. Surely most of you know that he dyes his hair. There's no He's actually 60 years old, I can tell you. I wrote a poem about it. And I don't know what happened to that poem. But Shirley is a good friend. Of course, Jimmy and I, as you know, work together side by side. In spite of that, we kind of tolerate each other in a big help. Of course, F.E.'s like my big brother. He's helped me a lot and been a deacon. You didn't know I was a deacon. May not be after today. Of course, you know, most of you know, Gene and I coached together. I wasn't much help, but I knew very little about football. I thought football was a 12-man game. I don't know why. I thought, you know, 6-man football, big-time football ought to be 12. I looked over Gene, of course, to find coach. We coached here together for, I guess, just 2 years. And then I went to retirement. Anybody did, sir. And Mildred. If you don't know Mildred, Mildred is an actress. And you've probably seen her on television. She does Jane Long, and then she does some Nazi spy or something. And I don't know what she's done, but she used to be older than me.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all coming. I know y'all want to eat, but I can't. You bring back a lot of memories. Doris, thank you. I'm not going to tell them what you did for me. And here at the library, always taking care of our films. If it hadn't been for films, I'll miss all of it. I hate to retire, because from here on, when you walk into a stranger, and I always say, in fact, some lady said my 6th grade daughter was so mad, so she's not going to get to have you in the 7th grade. That makes me feel pretty good, but I will miss all those kids coming up. You miss kids. I don't care what they say about kids, they're still an awesome. I just think that, I don't think I could pick the profession that I enjoy more than this. Thank you for coming. I know you were here because you had to be.
Not really. They had options to work today or Monday.
Thank you a lot.
Okay. Okay, we'll let the head table go through the line first.
get one of Doris. She's oh, you know what I got? From the math teacher, they gave me booklets to Luby's.
They must have asked somebody what you like to do.
Yeah, so I'll be at Luby's tonight.
That's right. Well, those seats, the Astros are for tickets.
I don't know what I was like. Oh, hi.
And they were there. Susie. Susie.
I know, let's get a big old bite in your mouth. Come on, bigger than that. Open your mouth wide. Aww. Oh, and Debbie. Come on, Debbie's got to take a bite.
They were happy.
Hey, Susie. Oh, hi. How are you, Susie?
I'm gonna miss your daddy.
I know. I miss coming up here.
You can still come up here. That's the wrong place. Him and Daddy over here.
What are you doing?
Hey,
Hello.
hey, go ahead now.
Going to the beach.
On sweet and sweet and low.
Never the same. And never the same. Well, you know, you can see these people come by. Never the same.
Hey, it's me! I retired!
Who am I?
I'm retarded! I retired!
Oh, gosh. Did you get Coach Kunicki?
Yep, we got him in there.
Oh, that's enough. Yep. Well, take care. Yeah, I'll see you later.
Did you get one of Mr. Hart?
He'll have to be up here to check on her. I'll go and see how.
Great. He's got to take my place.
I can't do as good a job as he can.
Oh, no. He's stupid kid like him. He'll do right.
Yeah.
He knows that. That always happens.
Thank you.
He got
Don't worry about that. I don't have to do that.
Yeah, they were.
But anyway.
Yeah,
I don't see as great as I am.
Well, they all have kids now. We're just kids.
He's probably
you
very
know,
sure.
that's the one thing about being a grandmother. The kids come and visit and then you bring them all, like this friend of mine said,
Oh, that's the basketball pictures.
maybe a lot went over.
It's $25. The math goes on math teacher. One of the ones that's what they were doing in the kids. Everybody knows everybody.
He married. Oh, I don't know that he married her daughter. Their
Last
daughter.
night. Alex.
You got that
And the chickens were there.
Yeah.
Brendan.
Yes, yeah, I got that about the star.
Still
staying in the tower. If it did, I just, well, yeah, it doesn't take much to get it.
Teachers have gone to their rooms to finish cleaning up.
Well, I finally learned that about him, but I guess he thought that old lady shop long enough, I'm gonna do whatever she's doing, but yeah.
Julie, back one time, he'd been to the store and talking about these women and picking up every head of lettuce.
Y'all do it on a onesie basis, huh?
Later,
Y'all do it on a onesie, twosie basis?
they're trying to find one that fits in the lettuce keeper. If it doesn't fit right,
Put it back, huh? Oh, me.
well, I'm glad y'all came.
I knew I'd see you, that you'd be here. Well, we need to get on to
This is the first day of the rest of his life.
Xerox now.
Tired too.
That's the only time we've ever.
Yeah, I wondered.
Probably got back in you.